I'm Joanna L. At the age of 23, Matt was 25 at the time. We bought a home about 3 days before all of this tragic stuff happened. We had a son, he was 1 year old. We had cars, we had the life going. He had just got into the union, so we were super excited about that. And so 3 days before, or after we closed on the house, there's 3 days after we closed on the house, we moved in. He played softball. He played on a men's, kind of like a beer league, but like a men's league. And he was going to the game, and I stayed home because we still had tons of stuff, like unpacking and whatever. And I texted him, and I just said, I love you, and good luck. And he texted back, I love you too. And probably about an hour later, I get a phone call that Matt has passed out. He just passed out. That's what they said. So it was hot, so I assumed he had like a heat stroke, So we rushed to the hospital, and it wasn't a heat stroke. They said that he scored a home run, and right when he stepped on home plate, he collapsed. So we lost Matt. Me and my son Matthew, we lost everything. And at 23 years old, you don't really understand the bigness of everything that just happened. It all happened at once. We had a mortgage, we had 2 car payments, we had credit card bills, we had everything. And with him being in the union, we were excited and we can handle it. And I was a stay-at-home mom, so I was able to stay at home and take care of my son. So I wasn't financially ready to take care of this burden on my own, and that's what it was. It was a burden, and it was sad, and it was something that Matt never prepared for, and something I didn't prepare for. Nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about what happens, when you lose, say, the breadwinner in your family or the person you rely on financially. And I just think if we had life insurance at that time, that I would have been okay. I wouldn't have had his car repoed, which was sad because that was my memory. That was something that, we met in for the first time. Our first date was in that car, and it was repoed right in front of me because I couldn't afford 2 car payments. I was scared. I was lost. I felt alone. I felt like he abandoned me at 23. I keep saying 23 because it's such a young age. Imagine what you're doing at 23. You're partying, or you're out, or you're living your best life, going to concerts or Florida, or I'm 23 and I lost my fiance, my child lost its father, and I'm in so much debt, and I'm alone. I felt alone. When all of this happened, I was lucky enough to have friends and family that stepped up for me, that helped me see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that, there is life to live. I remember saying specifically, I remember seeing him in the casket and crying and just saying, I'll never love again. I promise. I'll never, move on. And I remember my dad taking the casket, Matt's hand, and just saying, please let my daughter love again. Please help her, and help her just be happy again. She deserves it. And I still say a year later when I met my husband that Matt sent him, because he's a godsend. To put up with me, I was still emotional and grieving, and he stepped up and he took over my son. He took on my son and he adopted him, and it was just a blessing. So I'm very blessed. I'm blessed for the people in my life and my family. Well, after Matt passed and everything actually started rolling in, the bills, the payments for the car, the mortgages, all of that, it became scary. I became scared and depressed, and I didn't want to leave my bed. I was alone, and I didn't know if I would make it out. I didn't know if I'd be able to buy groceries for my kid. I didn't know if I'd be able to keep the electric on and the lights on. It was scary. Eventually I met my husband a year later, and I said, I might sound like a crazy person, but as soon as we got married, I said, you're getting life insurance. I made him get life insurance. I got life insurance. And actually on my 2 kids, I have life insurance. And the reason for that, some people think that that's crazy, but I got it when they were so little, so that it's so low. I locked in that price, and for the rest of their lives, they'll be able to afford that. Don't go to Starbucks for a week, and you'll be able to pay for your, life insurance, and their family will never have to go through that, and maybe one day I'll just keep the policies for them if they can't afford it, so their families and their loved ones, will never go through what I went through. I thank God for my life. I thank God for my blessings. My future, or my past, started off shaky. I do have a blessed future. I'm living in a really blessed life right now. I thank God for my family, my friends, and the opportunity to just spread awareness and help somebody else that can eventually maybe be in the situation that I was in. If I had to do it all over again, I would financially budget in life insurance. I would have made sure that my family is set up in both cases, not just my husband, for myself too. I have life insurance too, because some people, if you lose your other part, it's not just the husband, it's the wife as well. That when your partner, either husband or wife, loses their life and your finances, it's nice to have that backup and that safety and security that you won't have otherwise. So getting life insurance, people think might be some crazy amount of money, and they can't fit it into their budget. It's very inexpensive. If you actually just don't go to Starbucks for a week, you'll be able to afford insurance that can protect your family for the future. It's no excuse to say that you can't afford it, because you can. Imagine all the going out to eat and just movies or this. Just don't do it one time and there's your payment, So I would say if you're young, get the life insurance. Protect your kids, protect yourself, protect your home. Because if you're financially not in the place where you can be, it can destroy you. And I hope that, this video can help you protect yourself in the future.